Hello and welcome to our drum and bass tutorial. I'm just going to go through the sort of generic drum and bass bit formula, but it'll help you out when you're starting off, and you might even pick up something if you're accustomed to the genre. So you've got for the real beginners, you've got the basic breakbeat structure, which is the bass drum and the snare. You want a hard snare for this. And now this is around 170 BPM. You get variations 160, 180. It depends what you want. Something quick, something slow. I like the middle ground. Now you want a couple of different hat sounds. You want one that's open. I think it's this, that sort of thing. I know they're well stock sounds, but you really, yeah, that's another thing. When creating a drum and bass song that you want to put out to people, get good samples. All too often people put out drum and bass songs which are good, but the samples are absolutely awful and it makes their song sound crap and amateur and rubbish. Sometimes I'll search out 2 hours, 3 hours at a time just for the right samples. I mean, use rubbish samples to create the song and then find good ones and add to it, because you want a basic structure obviously. So on top of drum and bass, for that boom, 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 you get a lot of and that on this hat looks like this. Then you always get the running hat on top of that, which is like so. Just put that at intervals of 2. So now you want a little light hat in the background that sort of doubles these up. That's the only way I can really explain it. But just on the offbeat, you want these to just put them there, all right, and you'll list it. And you can put that at the end as well, just to get it sort of at the end, like boom, 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 boom. Mostly try and find a hat that sounds similar. I didn't do that, but that's just because this is a simple tutorial. Okay, so you've got. Now you want a little variation. Here I've got a weak sounding snare. And yeah, you can hear it sounds awful. So, but you want that at the end of a bar. So I've gone into a new pattern. Just have the roughly what you want going on. Oh, I want to put it in there. So. Something like that will do fine, and then have a little open hat just before the end, so 2 before the end. Okay, well, it's not very prominent, so we'll put it 1 behind, we'll put it there. So now we're gonna create the build-up. So there's a real formula way of doing this, which is just sort of doubling up the bass drum. So you've got, and then I'll go into a new pattern. And then double it up again. Another pattern. And then something like that. So no, I've got to listen to this. And at the end of each bar, I like to put a little variant. Obviously, don't do it too often because then it sounds formula, even though it is. But you know, it sounds a bit more formula. Often I find it's good just to start with the bass drum and the snare. My computer's not liking the camera software and Fruit Loops running at the same time. Yeah, that's another thing. If you've got anything below 512 RAM, you're not going to get anywhere. I had a 256 computer and it barely ran 3 samples at the same time. And you're going to be wanting more than that in drum and bass, believe me. So now we've got something that sounds like this. Something like that. It's just something that really works for you. Obviously, all this stuff requires imagination, a bit of variance. You know, don't just copy this video because I'm sure someone will probably do it, and you'll have the song that sounds the same. Well, this is pretty basic anyway, so you don't want to copy it. But it's just to give you an idea of what track you should be on. Now, another thing is levels on here. When you've got little running snares along the hi-hats along the top, sorry, you want something with a bit of emphasis on the little one. So just change the levels on stuff so it doesn't sound so robotic, because that's often quite a flaw in drum and bass, unless you're trying to create sort of the old 8-bit style, in which case keep all the levels the same. But play around with the maybe even play around with the pitch of stuff. Like every other one on the running hats to be a semitone higher. I mean, you can't hear it that much, but you know, it's a nice change. Probably best not to mess around with the snare or the bass drum because that sounds a bit weird. But yeah, just play about with the things the samples you got. I mean, I just moved to a different sort of set of drums here, but I've made up my own set. I just like to play around, really. To make something you like. Something like that. Just add in little variants. Even completely change the drum set for a bar, like I did there. It might sound a bit wacky. Anything you want to do, honestly, anything. Just be creative. Do something weird. Try and do things that haven't been done before. That's always very difficult, but that's what makes sort of banging tunes. Hopefully this tutorial has helped. Good luck.